Hey guys, welcome back to CLOWNFISH TV. This is Kneon. I'm here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And Artemis Fowl is foul.
Yeah. Oh wow, but that took you all day.
That did. Yeah. So Artemis Fowl is getting hammered on Rotten Tomatoes. Artemis Fowl was supposed to be a big event for Disney Plus.
Right.
And this movie got dumped onto the streaming service. It skipped a theatrical release. And now we can see why.
Well, I know when the trailer came out, a lot of people were like, wait, what? You know, and that was before they decided to put it on streaming.
That was in another time, another period before the shutdown. Mm-hmm. And people already had issues with Artemis Fowl because they knew it was going to deviate from the source material. Unfortunately, they didn't know how much it was going to deviate. And even if a movie deviates from the book, sometimes a movie can still be good. But it's not even good.
Yeah, it's. I mean, we haven't seen it.
No.
I haven't read the books either. I'm just telling you what people are saying about it. I can't actually say because I didn't watch it.
Yeah. But this is not a good look for Disney. Again, they've been trying to bank on Disney Plus as being this premier streaming service, and I understand they had to do it because of the theaters being shut down. But let's be honest, at 9% Rotten Tomatoes, this movie was not going to make any money anyway.
No. Now, is there an audience score? It says there's not.
There was an audience score of 22% yesterday.
But why is it gone?
That is a.
Because that's what I thought. I thought yesterday they had a audience score.
Yeah, they have scores here. It was 22% yesterday.
Yeah, like I know we looked at it yesterday.
Yeah,
and
there's nothing. These are all from 2018 based on the trailer.
The trailer hasn't been out that long.
No. Well, yeah, it was. It actually did come out. It did. The teaser trailer came out in 2018. Yeah.
Was it? I thought it was like last year.
No. So it's not getting. Does anybody give it a good? A good review? Oh, CNN. It is an unqualified good egg, but it's perfectly adequate. That's not exactly.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. Is
a glowing review.
I'm hearing that it's somehow overly complicated yet superficial at the same time. You know, I'm hearing all this stuff.
USA Today said it was okay. Richard Roeper said it was okay, and that is about it for the top critics.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but from my understanding, I know back when the trailer came out, people were very upset because it wasn't like, you know, okay, the books are almost always better than the films. We already know this.
Yeah.
But this was such a deviation from the books that it was like really, really, really far removed.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about that. We'll talk about the Rotten score first, and then we'll talk about some of the deviations. Now, I know it's been a very popular series for a while. They had a graphic novel series that was actually pretty well received, if I remember correctly. But Disney Plus's Artemis Fowl stumbles into single digits on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, that's bad.
This movie cost $125 million to make, and it's bad enough they had to. I mean, they're going to have to just write this one down because. You know, it did get theatrical release. Nobody's going to buy it on home video.
I'm sorry, I'm just sitting here laughing because it's 9%. Now let's look at this realistically. Would a Disney film normally get that low when there's lots of, things going on and movies to go get tickets for premieres and new things at the parks to go see? It normally wouldn't get a 9%.
So what you're saying is since there's no money to be lost at the box office, Disney might not have ramped up the cheating.
Yeah, or like, you know, hey, you guys want some free tickets to go see the big movies? Hey, how about this? You know, the questionable things that a lot of people wonder about. They normally don't get a bad review, even on movies that deserved a bad review, like the Wrinkle in Time movie.
Yeah.
Or the Nutcracker movie.
Oh, God, the Nutcracker
They were
movie.
Pretty bad, and they didn't get anywhere near. I don't think they got this low. Because, people were like pandering to Disney because there was money to be had. There was tickets to be had. There was, advanced previews for like things like, Galaxy's Edge to be had. And now that there's nothing there, no bait on the hook, they're just like, it's shit, 9%. So.
Disney has run out of money to buy off bloggers with and buy off reviewers with. So this is what this film would get. Yeah, I think you're right. I think under normal circumstances, this movie probably would have gotten at least a 40 or 50%.
Right. And I say buy off. I'm not talking about actually giving them money. I'm talking about, hey, we'll give you access.
Well, no, that is what we're talking about because Disney has a way of I guess, manipulating the media to give them good reviews. And it comes down to, and look, some outlets have admitted this, is basically if you say bad things about Disney or say bad things about Disney products, then that gets you blacklisted.
We saw it happen.
Yeah, we saw it happen. They get blacklisted from movie premieres. You get blacklisted from...
Was it LA Times or something?
I think it was the LA Times.
Yeah.
Yeah. And actually, I think they're saying, if I remember correctly, it was either they gave a movie a bad review, or I think it was because they were covering the pay squabble at Disneyland, the controversy around Disneyland workers not getting paid more, and because of that,
yeah, I think it was that.
Yeah, Disney would not allow them to go see their movies, and that's how.
Not in the previews, yeah.
Right, and you don't want to be the only blogger out there that doesn't get to go to the party.
Well, they called it out and they got invited back, but I'm just saying, I could be wrong here, but I think under normal circumstances you wouldn't see a 9%.
No.
But now there's 22% on there too.
Yeah,
now
it
was there yesterday. No, it was.
So unlike the gold he successfully acquired in, is it Ian Colfer's first Artemis Fowl book, reviews for the Artemis Fowl movie are far from golden. In fact, they're rotten. According to Rotten Tomatoes, Artemis Fowl currently boasts a 9% on the tomato meter and a 22% audience score. That's why I saw yesterday it was 22%, and they took that down. A would-be franchise starter that will anger fans of the source material and leave newcomers befuddled. Artemis Fowl is frustratingly flightless. That's what they said. So yeah, a lot of people are like, wow, this is great. Disney's putting their big box office movies on Disney Plus. This is great. And this is what we get,
Yeah.
But people are locked in. You know what they're going to do is Disney's going to crow about this being a win. They're going to be like, so many people watched Artemis Fowl.
Right. That's exactly what they'll do. They'll find whatever, if there's any positives to it, they're going to take that and completely ignore the negative. And then this is further proves Disney cannot do things that aren't Disney.
Yeah. No, I think that's very accurate. Because there was talk about what would have happened if Disney had gotten a hold of Harry Potter. Now they had plans for the theme park attractions, and they were very, very Disney-fied. I read about it before where they were just going to do like a spinner ride, and then they're going to do like a Buzz Lightyear type ride where you go through with your wand, and it wouldn't have been anything near what Universal was planning. But at one point, if I remember correctly, I think Disney wanted the Harry Potter franchise, but they would have Disney-fied it. And Disney does this all the time. They get a hold of something they did not create.
Star Wars.
And they freaking ruin it. You've got a successful formula, right? You buy KFC. If you buy KFC, you don't change the 11 herbs and spices.
No, if you buy KFC, you don't make it a burger joint.
No, and that's what Disney does. They get a hold of these franchises. They try to Disney-fy them. It doesn't work out. There are some sites out there already talking about how they plan this to be a series. They're going to have sequels. I'm like, hell no.
No, I doubt that at this point. But they said that the character in the books was one way, and he was like a devious mastermind, and the character in the movie is just like a whiny, snotty little kid who's like, they try because Disney didn't want him to be too bad.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the point. So.
Yeah. But they said in the movie Artemis doesn't start off as a criminal mastermind. The most distinctive aspect of the book is we meet the young Irish, super rich, super genius Artemis Fowl while he's already part of his family's vast criminal enterprise. And they went the Harry Potter route, and it was kind of like, oh, you want to be a criminal, Artemis?
Yeah, pretty much.
You're
old enough now.
The movie foregrounds the hot dad. The movie adds a big glowing MacGuffin that was never in the book.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that. It was like this acorn thing.
Yeah, the arch villain was seemingly crammed into the movie at the last minute. There's a new backstory from one of the characters. The movie gives Artemis a new kid friend. Why? The movie isn't very funny, or it's rather actively unfunny. I think Disney, they're probably looking at this like, well, this is kind of problematic. We can't have a villain, a child villain, because that's not very Disney.
No, so and it'll just teach kids to be villains. And then we'll have to have committees about it and everything else that will have to get banned. Oh my God, yeah. Because we can't have kids being villains.
Yeah, so, look, this is, again, just, like Geeky was saying, this is another example of Disney, licensing something or getting the rights to something and not knowing what the hell to do with it, doing it badly.
Disney has had several bombs of late, and I don't think they ever went this low on Rotten Tomatoes. But like I said, there was stuff to negotiate with. There was things, there's carrots to dangle to get their way. And,
Yeah, so I gotta wonder if someday if somebody else won't take another crack at this, because I know because of this, people are looking at the Percy Jackson series now, because the Percy Jackson movies got it wrong too. I don't know if it's quite as bad as Artemis Fowl, but they took a lot of liberties with it, and now the writers out there are saying like, yeah, this sucks. Now, one instance where they actually had a chance to go back and fix it, and I'm going to talk about that, is The Golden Compass, His Dark Materials. The movie was shit. It had a great cast. Had Daniel Craig and Nicole Kidman, but the movie itself got the tone wrong. It got a lot of things wrong. They tried to shoot for more of like high fantasy when it really wasn't. But HBO went back and did a series with the BBC, which was freaking excellent. Because I actually, I don't get a chance to sit down and read very often. I actually listened to the His Dark Materials on audiobook when I was working on comics and stuff. And I loved it, and the movie got it so wrong, but the series actually did it right. So they had a chance to redo it.
That's cool.
And they're going to do the whole series now.
Yeah, because but you had a couple issues with it, but mostly you thought it was pretty dead on.
Yeah, there were a couple things. I think it was limited more by budget, because some of it was like, the movie did this better because they had the budget for it. But, I gotta wonder if in this case, Artemis Fowl, like maybe in 10 or 15 years, like a Netflix or somebody will come along and be like, yeah, let's do this right.
You know what, though? You know why it failed, don't you? Because Artemis should have been a woman.
He should have been.
He should have been gender bent and race bent, and then it would have been okay.
No, it wouldn't have been okay, because you can't have a POC woman be a villain. That's a problem. Right.
But no, they would argue that it was unrealistic because, villain and that they're like part of some crime organization. We can't have that.
No.
So, but I'm just saying, Disney, okay, let's put it this way. Disney a year ago, I'm surprised they didn't gender bend the character.
Yeah, I look at what they did with Wrinkle in Time. And again, it was another case of like Disney got the rights to something they clearly did not understand. And I get updating it. And again, that was another one of my favorite books when I was a kid. And I get updating it or trying to update it for a modern audience. But what's going to happen is the movie's going to look ridiculous because it's going to be such a product of its time. And it could be argued the original book was a product of its time.
I thought the movie sucked. Sorry, I'm just going to say
it. I mean,
it was a dumb movie.
50-foot giant, 50-foot tall Oprah Winfrey. We've got Reese Witherspoon turning into a leaf Pokemon. It was
all over the dang place.
It just was
the
nuts.
Nutcracker in the Four Realms. They retconned the Nutcracker. Now her mother was an inventor, and she invented all the other worlds that these people were from, and all this other BS because she's a woman. We had to make her a strong female character, and it just was a shit movie. It was boring and it was dumb.
So I gotta wonder, because these movies they all came out about the same time. They come in waves, and we know that movies, they start production at the same time, and we saw them advertised in the parks and everything else. And I have to wonder if they were a result of that women's board that they started in Disney that saw the change to the redhead on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. If that wasn't like they sat down or like, okay, what movies are we working on, and then how can we make them more?
I don't know, but they were not good movies. No, but they didn't get the reviews this one did, and more people are going to probably see this because it's at home. It's on free basically. Yeah, it's on digital. You can do a free trial for flipping Disney Plus. So when it's on digital, more people are going to see it, and they still think it sucks.
So this is what I'm concerned about with everything going to streaming. With movie theaters, they're talking that when the theaters come back, we might only have 50% of the theaters we had before. So there's not going to be as much of an incentive to make movies that make money, because at this point, if everybody's locked into your streaming service and it's just part of the deal, right? You don't have to convince a person to watch a particular thing. So we might start getting some really, really shitty movies just being dumped onto these platforms. Probably. Because as long as it's just good enough to keep people watching, it doesn't have to be great.
Oh, it's been, because they said I didn't watch Lady and the Tramp either, but I heard it was a wolf.
It was a dog too.
So it's like we're seeing this already with some of these movies are coming, you're just crapping them out onto digital. And I'm worried because they're having this, they're taking the MCU onto the platform and some other stuff. I'm hoping that doesn't turn out to be crappy. I mean, The Mandalorian was good. Let's hope that they don't. Well, I'm worried with some of the choices they're making as far as Disney Plus series and certain hires, might rhyme with Besley, and some other stuff. I worry about that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking that because again, it used to be that you had to convince people to drop, $10 a person to go see your movie. It had to be that good, or the buzz had to be there. But now that's just not going to be the case. Now it's going to be like, let's just crap a bunch of stuff. Everything's direct to video at this point.
Well, it's interesting too because the movie theaters, there's such a fight to get release dates, and it seems like when we were kids, movies would be in the theater a lot longer, and you have fewer movies. And then they're having too many that they can't cram all in. So now they can just take them to streaming services to be like fodder to get people on there. And then the ones they think might be Oscar worthy, or the ones that they might get, acclaim for box office bragging rights, are the ones they're going to focus in the theater releases.
Kind of reminds me of video games. It's like the really good ones, the AAA titles, get physical releases, but a lot of stuff is just direct to digital.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just to download.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, just to get people to play it, because, it's $2, I'll play that, kind of thing.
Yeah, so all these movies are basically going to be apps, but in this case, Disney spent $125 million on this movie, and it's a bust, but they borrowed billions to stay in business. So,
right, yeah,
so they can just write this one off. So we're going to wrap it up?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so please subscribe for more pop culture, news, views, and rants, and we'll talk later.
Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.